in the bottom lane. Is that going to be the Xayah? Oh,
do it.
Boy.
Don't think about it, just do it.
Yep.
There it is. Okay, so we got Karma, Xayah bottom lane, potentially.
Potentially. Karma is a flex pick.
But really cool to see that here. Lots of changes coming into LCK Summer.
It did get banned the first time around, so definitely Maha must be quite proud. Or that's not the right word. That's a word I just made up. He must be quite good at Xayah. Let's just go back to simple stuff.
He might be proud of his Xayah play. It's also a potential possibility.
I mean, I love the change here, though. Instead of going for, let's rely on each other, let's just have our individual strength shine through here, because the team coordination was just so off that going to a more individualistic style is what I'd recommend for MVP.
Looks like we might be seeing Zyra Varus bot lane once again for Jin Air. They do lock that in. This time, Umti does pick up his Lee Sin. That was banned last time, so
you can expect him to be super aggressive on the Lee Sin. He's been playing this pick for quite some time and just always goes for crazy invades. He has so many opportunities on the map, and last time the Zyra and Varus were susceptible to getting what?
Oh, what?
Blitz Xayah?
Okay. Well, that is Max, and it is his birthday, so we shouldn't be too surprised.
Enough with the birthday picks, man. We saw him, they played Blitzcrank in the match against KT Roasted. I didn't really like it too much. You know, Blitz doesn't offer a whole lot besides hook. If you miss hook, you don't really have a whole lot. Not sure about the synergy with Xayah. I've never seen this lane before, so this is a moment that has never existed before.
It definitely, you know, with the combo that Blitzcrank has, you definitely can get an easy route from the Xayah, and that means if you can land that route after all of that that CC from Blitzcrank, it definitely means that you will have a lot of time to do damage, right?
But the thing is, you have to consider that hook can get blocked by Zyra plants. Every time, just save your plants for any time that hook comes out, and then bam, you pop him up, and then he has to get a plant in his face.
Poor plant, though. It lives and dies in the span of half a second.
Sounds like the plants that I take care of. I had to buy, I bought a cactus, because that's the only thing I could take care of.
Yeah, you got a cactus yesterday.
Yeah.
Or a couple of days ago. That was interesting. I won't spoil too much about the cactus. I know you'll reveal it in the future.
There's not a whole lot to say about it. You know, I couldn't take care of a cat, so I had to go to a non-movable object that is a lot easier to handle.
Yeah. So we did have our second phase of bans come through. The Jace and Fiora banned out by MVP. The Kennen and Graves banned out by Jin Air.
Yeah, no carries topside. Let's not have Ixu trying to take over the matchup, and the Gragas gets locked in. It can be a flex. You don't really want to see it in the jungle because he's not so powerful. Much better in the top lane with that triple ring build that is just so popular nowadays. And so MVP going with a wildly different composition. Lots of disposition from them with the Blitzcrank. The Gragas just trying to basically make a bounce house out of Jin Air.
They do have that extra speed up from Karma too as a team, so it makes engaging quite easy. And we could see a bit of disengage from Jin Air perhaps. They already do have the kick, they have Zyra.
But what is their last pick going to be? A Shen, he's powerful right now. He can save people if necessary. He's strong in the top lane. But Ixu did favor that top lane carry last game. So with those three banned, I really wonder what he's going for.
Ooh.
Yes, yes, Jarvan. Oh my God. Okay, so Jarvan right now, he's in such a bizarre spot because of the picks in the top lane, but I've been hearing rumors from great Jarvan players, I'm not going to spoil who, but that he's only viable into Gragas top. That's the only matchup you can really play him into right now. And so the fact that the Gragas gets locked in, he sees the opportunity for it, and once again, another carry. And Sejuani, man, what? Why?
What's with the Sejuani, man?
Why would you do this to yourself?
Well, you were talking about it being a pick into Gragas, right? Maybe they want to go with Sejuani top, throw Gragas into the jungle.
Jesus.
So maybe the Sejuani is good against the Jarvan. Better than against the Jace, I hope.
Yeah, I mean, they must have gotten the wrong patch notes on this because who said there's no damage? Where's the damage from MVP? It's Sejuani Gragas. You're never going to kill Jarvan. It's Gragas Karma. If
that's true.
Kuzan has a Banshee's Veil, he's not dying. It's just Xayah.
It's like maybe if they had some kind of super hard carry AD, like a Twitch or something, or a Kog'Maw, maybe then this composition would make some more sense. But the Xayah, I don't know. This is kind of a weird pick ban for me, Crumbs.
I mean, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt, right? We've never seen a comp like this on this patch, so maybe they've got some tricks up their sleeve. Maybe they really sharpen up their engages and make sure that they're cohesive as a 5-man unit. Karma does offer a lot of damage, but she does tend to fall off into the lake, and when the magic resist items really start coming up, and now that mid laners can buy that Banshee's Veil for 1 spell of damage, the Karma does get to fall off a little bit in the DPS, but she does make those tanks crazily difficult to kill.
And you look at the Jynaire's lineup, we got Ixu on a very aggressive champion in the top lane once again. If this guy pops off again, I mean, he must have been practicing a lot during the downtime.
The thing is, this time around, the Jarvan does not have nearly as much pressure onto turrets as the Jace. He has to walk up into melee range. It's not like the Jace where if he gets left alone, he can just demolish a tower. So a bit of a softer split pusher, but nonetheless, still, they can go for that 1-3-1. Talia in the bottom lane, Jarvan in the top, and then the dual lane in the mid lane. Just the style that Jynaire loves to play.
Well, guys, we're going to jump into game number 2 right now. Let's jump onto the Rift.
You know, I just want to see who's the person that starts it.
It's always like a secret, you know, they're hidden somewhere in the crowd. You gotta find out who it is, because it's usually the same person. Because these fan clubs, Crumbs, they're very well organized. They get together before and after the games.
I've seen some videos about them, and this fan club might get a little excited to see MVP going for this Blitzcrank 5-man invade. But if Jynaire did any research, they would have known that MVP did this last time they played Blitzcrank. So nobody in the bottom lane to fall for it, and instead they will go respond by invading their own opponent red side jungle. Jesus.
Yep. There, you got it out.
It's a tongue twister there.
But they actually just had the 1 ward in that Tribrush too, so it seemed like they knew exactly where MVP would come from. So great read by Jynaire.
You just don't have to really give anything to Blitzcrank. Just don't give him the light of day. Don't get hooked and wait it out.
It's as easy as that.
Ah. Easier said than done.
Tell that to all my 80 carries that I play with in the bot lane.
You play support?
Occasionally. You know how solo queue is. Sometimes you get thrown down there into the bot lane.
You know, I saw a guy that picks Phil. Apparently 70% of the time you get Phil. If you go Phil 60% of the time you're support.
I mean, it's probably the least selected role going into solo queue, so it does make sense. Huzan actually picked up 2 of the Raptors, so he's going to hit 2 off of this wave. And
what matters most, not just him hitting 2, but denying the Gragas from hitting 2. So now Beyond has to continue to jungle for that. And once again, Jynaire is so good at doing this, denying the jungler. In the promotion tournament, they focus the jungler, and when you focus the jungler in a team composition like what MVP has, that has, for the most part, lanes that will struggle, if there's nobody there to gank, then the composition just slowly bleeds out. And if they can passively start getting advantages and passively hit the towers, then Jynaire is going to be in such a good spot, because we've seen them improve the macro play, and this is just a macro 101.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about MT2, how they definitely put a lot of pressure on this guy to perform, and he's a little bit inconsistent. At least he was in spring, but in the promotion matches, he looked really good. And when he pops off, when he gets a really good start and gets a couple of kills, this guy does perform.
And he's a rookie, right? That's the crazy thing about it. When he made his debut, he started playing, he was able to solo kill Peanut. How many rookies can go ahead and say something like that? It's really impressive, and it's promising to see that a guy is being given so much power and access to do whatever he wants in the team, and everybody's rallying around him, and he's putting it to good use. The inconsistency issues, sure, but you know, what can you really expect when you have somebody brand new? You're not going to just randomly find another faker and suddenly you're the best team ever.
Maybe someday. Everybody's looking for the
he's
the new coming of the Messiah of League of Legends. There is a baby faker out there. But
everybody's trying to be baby faker these days.
Yeah. Maybe someday we'll get the real baby faker.
And already, look at the CS lead top side. 24-13, just walking up in front, making sure that he doesn't get any of those CS. That's a 11 CS gold lead under 4 minutes.
That's so painful to watch, especially because he used his abilities, which just damaged the backline a little bit too much, and so he lost all 3.
Yeah, this Sejuani pick, really not feeling it. I mean, the ultimates have to be much more on point than previously for me to feel confident about it.
Yeah, and the damage has to be there. I mean, not sure where we're going to see it from this time around. But we'll just have to wait and see. It is still very early on in the game, just 4 minutes in.
Gragas going with the jungle item right away into control ward, so lots of vision. They're expecting to be playing really aggressive, and they're gonna cross in that Raptor camp. They had a lot of control over Raptor camp previous game. MVP is Graves, and that's a level 4 though. He can fight this. There's minion aggro on to Beyond. He can't fight this.
Well, he was attempting.
But
He's
here comes
sticking
Karma.
around, actually. Karma is going to get there first. Looks like Beyond was able to pick that up. Ian is a little bit low. Ed going to come in from the top side.
Oh.
Flash on in. Will jump onto Ixu.
Ed's
Will
dead.
he turn this around?
What?
He
What are you
does,
doing?
and there's the first blood
What?
to the MT. Oh, boy.
What is going on with Ed today? They must have had some birthday celebrations or something, because there's so lack of communication from MVP. They're just not strong enough to fight it. That death is just so much more worse than what it looks like for ADD. Forced to use the teleport, misses out on the wave, burns his flash. Could it be worse? I can't really think of how.
If didn't burn his flash as well.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
actually.
If they got the flash and somehow were able to disengage, then it would have been okay. You know, that would have been pretty good. You know, couldn't have been as aggressive from there on out, but as you were saying, just stepping a little bit too far forward, and Ixu able to come in for the follow-up. Flash couldn't save him.
And it's just classic MVP, man. These guys have, when they see somebody, they just cannot say no. They gotta go for the kills. And here, just let him go, but
just run away.
Continues to chase. Oh boy. I mean,
it's the boar, man. Yeah. It's the boar. Sejuani, he's trying to take control of the boar. The boar just won't listen.
Sejuani says no.
It's
no, please.
When you're riding a boar that big, it's kind of hard to take control sometimes. So you got to understand, guys.
Yeah, makes a lot of, I mean, I've never ridden a boar, but I imagine I would not have a whole lot of control over it, especially a Russian boar out of all things.
Oh, yeah. Well, MT is having a pretty fun time so far, sitting at 1-0. We do have a Ocean Drake to start, so it's not going to be, you know, just Beyond coming on in and getting an Infernal Drake for free this time or anything like that. And same can be said for MT this time around.
But even though it's an Ocean Dragon that's not so crazily contested, I think we can understand what Jin Air's plan is going to be right now. They got that lead in the top side that Jarvan was getting, and he built a Tiamat early on, which means that he's going to have so much pushing power over ADD. That means that he can just keep pushing topside, and they never have to revisit that lane. All they have to do is keep the pressure bottom, keep the pressure in mid, and they can continue to grow that CS lead. And ADD trying to clear out the control ward. He will get it.
Oh boy, I mean, he's gonna get it, but Jarvan is 6 right now. They can't engage. There it is, the ultimate.
Talia is coming.
Talia comes on over. Whoa, okay, he can jump over that wall. The damage follow-up, extremely tanky. The shield from Karma keeps him alive.
No, he flashed.
They will turn it around. Ixu does go down. Here comes MT though, looking to get onto Ian. Lands that Q onto Beyond. Actually takes a ton of damage. MT might have gone too far. There's the double kill. Will trade the 1-for-1. Kuzan, can he follow up? Doesn't look like it.
Very close engage there. Talia going straight into the Jarvan Jacuzzi there, and they trade 1-for-1, and it's worthwhile for Jin Air. However, they are able to still deny more waves, and the TP does get burned from Ixu. You do want to see them play a little bit more towards the bottom side. Let's take another look at that replay right there. Going for the control ward. Maybe if he engaged a little bit sooner, he might have been able to stop the control ward from dying, as well as the knockup hitting.
Sick ult by ADD. He hits Kuzan as he's coming on the wall, and that reduces so much of that follow-up damage, keeps him alive. So they pick up the first kill onto Ixu, and then MT looks like he was, you know, trying to set something up with Kuzan, but ended up trading just 1-for-1 with him, given the double kill to Beyond.
And they're trying to go for Karma, but she has flash still. She's not the easiest champion to kill. Beyond, there is no Cataclysm, so it might result in just a red buff steal. That's a 3-on-3, nobody else in sight.
They want to turn on to ADD. So much action to start this game off, and the red will go over to Beyond. It looks like Jin Air, they just want to disengage, but the stun onto Ixu will come over the wall. Beyond is the only one to make it over. The cask does knock him back, but also the kick from Umti will knock Beyond out of the pit, and everyone will survive.
The red buff goes the way of Beyond, so in the end, the Jin Air invade just results in them getting chunked out and having to recall. So Jin Air, not too thrilled about this. The early game, while it looked promising on that first blood kill, oh, nice flash hook.
There you go. That's Max for you. Welcome to LCK with MVP. And trying to turn it around here is Teddy, but he has no mana. So it's kind of the sad play. So that's a nice play by Max.
That's the play that you want to see on Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank doesn't offer a whole lot without his flash, but every time you got that move, it's such a strong playmaking potential. You can go for the flash fist, flash hook. Hell, you can even do a flash ultimate, and it's still a very powerful tool.
So he sets it up. You can see the effect in the bottom lane so far. It looks like Maha is up about 16 CS. And we're going to get a nice little replay of that.
Yeah, the flash hook past the plant. Unfortunately, he flashed in the line and still connects.
And he does get out. So Max, no more summoners, doesn't have the ignite, no flash.
Which just means that a Weaver's Wall to the bottom lane will be death for somebody. And we want to see these teams punish the flashes. We know that they can do it. And Max, oh.
He sees MT, says, okay, I'm out of here.
But they scout out the jungler, and now Beyond responds as well. Lots of action going to be happening in the bottom lane. Talia positioning for a Weaver's Wall, perhaps. They do call out the Mia, and they will retreat.
Yeah, they were thinking about it. And it looks like MVP is actually grouping up towards the river. We'll pick up the Scuttle Crab together. But nothing really happening.
Yeah, the Scuttle Crab really making sure that nobody can sneak the dragon or do it right away. But Umti is able to sneak into the brush, and there are chains of corruption available. So anybody that gets hit by these will surely go down.
Needs to land it, though. That's the real key. Can't Snowflower land it, too. He doesn't have his flash.
Oh, but here comes Gragas.
Beyond. Okay, this is going to be a 3-on-3.
But there's double TPs on MVP, though.
Oh, here we go. The hook will miss. There's the chain of corruption, and immediately Max gets popped. No follow-up potential possible from MVP. They will pick up a kill.
Just too quick on that control, alt, delete. I mean, Blitzcrank, if you ever played Blitzcrank, you are not a tank. You are not a tank. Your itemization makes you tanky, but the champion itself is quite squishy, especially when you're going with so much money invested early on with mobility boots.
You're very mobile. You're driving a car, essentially.
Mobile straight to the bottom lane.
That's about it.
Oh.
The traits here, actually. It seems like Sejuani doesn't have a bad time, but here is Kuzan. Another really nice stun landed up, and the flash away from Ixu. And, oh, the knock-up there from Kuzan will be enough. Meanwhile, a trade in bot lane. Teddy getting extremely low. Maha will finish that off. Will Ian pick up the kill? The last auto attack will do it. Meanwhile, in the jungle, there's just so much action in this game.
Everybody's just dying in this game, and the teleport gets blown topside, trying to maximize the CS, and MVP looking to maybe make a push for this bottom lane turret. There's nobody alive looking for that first brick. There's true damage on the auto attacks from Red Buff, and yes, this is going to be first brick, so MVP with a breath of life in this game. What's seeming, oh, what is that TP? That's not going to go through.
Okay.
What? What? Well, all right
okay,
then.
Well,
Questionable. We questioned it, and they got answered by the cancels on both of them.
Yeah. Ixu just getting cheeky. Wanted to force out the teleport of ADD.
But I want to, oh, so there's a recall on Lee Sin going, and that's where the fight's going on bottom lane. But, you know, it's so hard to fight the Xayah 1-on-1. Her ultimate with the ability to make her untargetable is such an obnoxious, nice play, the swag barrel.
Takes a drink on his way out. Bit of celebration. He deserves it. Really nice play by Beyond. Oh, we might have a clash up in top.
Wait, did he not see him? He must have seen him. He's just too tagged. He just doesn't care.
He's like, yeah, whatever. I'll just go get my CS or not get any of my CS.
It's going to be an Essence Reaver again on Maha, this time on Xayah. She does offer a lot of utility with her ability to root somebody if she hits those triple feathers back.
Yeah, it's like the CC team from MVP. Every single person on their lineup has a bit of CC.
They can dive this champion. The kick. Oh, but she's just so tanky.
Oh, and MT's tanking it too. And Ixu himself isn't tanky really, so nothing really going to happen there.
They're just going to force down the turret. They acknowledge that they're going to lose that Ocean Dragon, so at least trying to trade something for it. But Umpty once again being the one tanking the turret.
Got to be careful, man. Who's on? Oh, he might. Oh, hook goes wide.
That's not the Blitzcrank you want to see.
Yeah, Max probably expecting the flash, I would assume.
MVP right now putting the 1-3-1 to good use. Ian going into the bottom lane while he doesn't have teleport. He's pretty good in the side lanes. Karma is relatively tanky. She can get out of any situation pretty safely with her incredible speed boost, and putting the dual lane into the mid lane when you have a Blitzcrank just opens up the map for you for roams non-stop. With mobility boots, your overdrive, you can just zip and zoom anywhere he wants and hopefully get hooks if his accuracy improves.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to do the 400 IQ blitz hook there, but actually the real 400 IQ play is not flashing. You know what they say, like bronze is where you walk in a straight line, and gold is where you dodge to the left, and challenger is where you're like going back and forth, but then 400 IQ is where you just walk in a straight line again.
I've never heard of that
you
before.
Never heard that?
No. But I'll remember
it now.
Thing. So 400 IQ is that one. I'll have to remember that one. What about the 200? Because that's double.
That's just, you know,
400 is a double one.
That's where it's like the faker play, where it's like you got the sick jukes, you got your Nikes on. But the real play is just to act like you're bronze and you just walk in a straight line, because your opponents are trying to read your jukes, but actually you don't juke at all, and that's the real play.
Exactly. How can you figure out something that is undefined in itself?
That was the real play by Kuzan. He's the real hero.
Speaking of heroes here, Ixu not having as much success this time around. The Jarvan really not capable of punishing the Sejuani as hard as the Jace was. The CS advantage is there, but unfortunately it doesn't amount to crazy turret pressure as the Jace or another ranged pick might, like the Kennen.
I mean, he's in a similar spot with the timing of the turret going down and the CS gap, but as you said, the pressure is not the same.
There is no flash on Karma, and they're really trying to go for this kill. Oh, she's so dead. She's so dead.
There's the knock up into the Q. And I was wondering even if they were going to go for the kick, but it seems like they felt it was necessary. And that's a very easy pickup onto Ian.
She just has only magic resist straight with the utility item from the get-go, the Athene's Holy Grail. So the utility Karma is going to really be coming online when she starts grouping up with the team. And unfortunately right now, not the case. And it looks like our first instance of Herald.
Oh no, Harold.
Not its eyeball.
Don't poke him there.
Why would its eye be in the back, though? Does it not have frontal eyes?
It has, like, feelers. You can see those big purple feelers. And then the eyes in the back.
Feelers?
Yeah, I mean...
Are they...
They look like feelers.
Wait, is that the name?
I
Would
don't
you
know.
call it a feeler?
It's either feelers or, like, antlers, you know, but it doesn't
What about
look like...
antennas to, like, sense with almost like an echolocation
but that's
kind of
similar
thing?
enough to feelers, right? Beyond is trying to put on the moves onto Snowflower, but Snowflower
I've just never
is
heard...
tanky enough.
You made the word feeler up right now, right?
No, it's a real word, I swear.
I'm Googling that after, see who has feelers out here.
You're going to keep my my casting up to standard, make sure I'm not making up words here.
Hey, I don't mind making up. True poetry makes up words.
That's true. Just pull a bit of Shakespeare on the broadcast.
If you can make a sonnet out of your cast, my God, then your ability is beyond anything else.
Well, Beyond didn't want any kind of play in there. He was totally out of the way, and Ed just like throws his ultimate in and then awkwardly walks away.
Every skill shot just missing left, right, and center. Just it's all for parting shots there. Make sure you get out of the way or you're gonna get run over by these crazy plants.
You know, it's definitely trying to zone them out.
What?
From the turret.
Wait a minute, that's
everything is missing right now. This looks ridiculous.
That's a 2 creep defense when Zyra's ultimate gets blown for it. And that's not going to be coming back up for the Dragon. It's a minute until Dragon is up, and you really would want to have that. So Jin Air will have to reassess it, what they want to do about this objective here. Now that they don't have the Zyra ultimate to maybe fight for Vision, or they will have to fight for the Dragon a little bit later. So MVP looking to perhaps set up quickly and pull the trigger as soon as possible to make sure they have an ultimate advantage.
You were talking about that Infernal Drake, and it seems like both teams are looking for a pick down here in bot before that Drake spawns, but doesn't happen. Both MT and Beyond will have to go home with their hands empty, as there's just no play down bot.
Just missed that, man. Just missed that CS on purpose. It's like you see money. It's like you see money on the ground and you just don't take it. It's like Bill Gates. You know, it's not worth it for him to pick up.
He already has so much.
It only is worth it the time it takes for him to pick up money off the ground. It has to be like $10,000 for the 2 seconds it would take him for it to be worth it. And Ixu just feeling the same way from the confidence from game one.
Jarvan, he's got a lot of fancy army. It wouldn't be armor, rather. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a lot of money.
Well, he is a prince, the Damascene prince, right?
There you go. So lots of players grouping up towards that Infernal Drake. I don't really see any engage happening just yet. It's only Ian down at bottom.
But still no crazy vision happening. You want to see Jin Air group up, jungler and support. They're kind of trying to group up. They almost seem like reverse magnets. When one goes one way, the other one just wants to go the other way. And that is what plagued Umpty. He kept going on by himself, and that's what you expected of somebody that is a rookie, to kind of be missing that ability to see the pressure, to play as a unit. And not much is going to happen off this trade. It's still just kind of like a tank-on-tank battle. So they're just going to be fighting each other, making sure that nobody can teleport onto the fight into a better position.
So far, MVP with a pretty good position here, but here comes the ball. MT coming on in, and it will go over to MVP Beyond. The veteran player will pick up the smite. There was a hook, but a flash away, and now Ed getting a little bit too far deep and might meet his fate. He does get the stun onto MT though, and he's extremely tanky. Will just walk away from that, and MVP picks up the Infernal Drake. Nobody dying on either side.
But, you know, I don't think that Infernal Drake does a whole lot for them. Even Karma's not building AP. She went Ardent Sensor. There's still not a whole lot of AD on Maha, so I gotta say, it seems more of a deny dragon here and want to set up for the Elder, because there's really no use for this dragon for this team composition.
It's true. You don't say that too often about Infernal Drake, but I suppose in this situation, with this kind of composition, maybe that's the way it goes. Maybe this is the new 7.10.
Try to make Fire Dragon as useless as possible. Oh, Beyond, he's behind the enemy lines here. He is really slippery though, and there is not enough damage to follow up. So
he's got his fake beard and hat on. He's trying to be one of the enemy, but will get away with it, and he does get out scot-free. Just one guy on the border tapping him. Ixu trying to make things awkward. And he does get the knock up onto Max. Will force the flash away. As you said before, definitely takes away a lot of the playmaking potential on the blitz.
No Cataclysm used, and ADD will be fighting for Ixu. They just don't care about each other anymore. They've had enough. But a push onto mid lane from MVP. That turret's almost gone. This wave surely will take that tower, and Jin Air doesn't want to defend this. There's too many people from MVP to really try to stick here and potentially get hooked, engaged. Just not worth their effort. And instead, they will send the Talia to the... What? All right, so they're just trading back and forth. She does have that stun when you get your spells off on Sejuani. And MVP walks away with the blue buff, and just a very different team this time around. They seem a lot more coordinated, and it seems like when they don't include Sejuani into as many plays as possible, they have more playmaking on their side. They seem to be more coordinated, and that's what we wanted to see. Individuality. Make these guys have to make their own plays instead of having to say, hey, I want you to set me up so that I can deal the damage, and then I'll follow it up. Just too many steps.
MT with the early smite there, and they try to set it up. Looks like Kuzan was the one that got hooked, but immediately flashed away.
So ADD was dashing back to his team and then flashed into the enemy team instead and walked away with his life. So, you know, I don't know if that's style over confidence or just lunacy that we can't comprehend.
ADD, he is really angry that everybody's mentioning Max about his birthday. He's trying to take all the attention away from Max by making these flashy plays, but I haven't been impressed so far, ADD.
He might just be salty that Max gets to play whatever he wants now.
Yeah. Because
of his birthday. You know, I wish when that was my birthday you could do whatever you want, right? I just played video games on my birthday. I was like, hey, can you not block my computer? Can you remove the parental control and let me game 24/7?
Well, trying to set up something here in mid is Kuzan with that Weaver's Wall, but Beyond actually dashing over. Here comes the TP. That will be canceled.
That was Karma's teleport, and Sejuani was looking for a flank, but just really lack of coordination from MVP. That's what happened last time around. No, come on, don't do this one.
Don't do it. Don't do it to us.
Okay, he didn't throw it out. At least we got spared.
He was thinking about it. But as is the case in a lot of Jin Air games, they think about it, but they don't actually do anything.
Hey, you know what they say, right? It's all in your head anyway. So if, as long as they're thinking about it, they might be playing a completely different game than what we see on screen.
Does that mean we can just make up our own half, half of the game here, the mid game?
Yes. And in this half of the game, MVP decides to rush Baron. And initially, whoa, what?
Oh, will he get out?
Oh, he's dead. Oh, he's so dead.
That was okay. Well, you talked about MT being a rookie and the inconsistency. I think that's definitely a play that showcases it right there.
And it's happened so many times before, just going by himself. They're going to force his Baron out. There is no smite available, but they're not in crazy range to follow up. They have to make the move quickly, otherwise Baron will go down to MVP, and they're going to commit to taking it.
Well, we'll see if they can land that smite. Should be pretty easy. Ixu flashes in. He's going 1v5, gets a knock up, and is trying to do damage to Ian. And you can see MVP just trying to pick up as many kills on their way out as possible. Jin Air just engaging 4v5, desperately trying to deny that Baron, but will not pay off.
And my God, it looks like the lack of coordination from MVP has just been caught by the bug from Jin Air, because now they're doing the same thing. Varus goes late. Are they trying to defend Baron? Are they trying to push for mid lane? So undecisive, and they get none in return, and they will just lose 2 people for it. And Snowflower, oh boy, he's just not blooming today.
Poor guy. Will get taken out. I was questioning, how far was MVP going to actually chase the support throughout Summoner's Rift? But
as far as it takes, man. Gold is gold.
Yeah, and everybody's pretty healthy, so they're able to group up here in mid and go for the push anyway. They throw Sejuani down bot. They have a couple of lanes pushing at the same time.
And the crazy thing is that we get to see the new patch. We have Xayah, but the game has just not revolved around her at all. Everybody else has really been outshining her. She's just there to clean up kills and has been relatively silent throughout the game, even though she's 4-0-0.
Yeah, she has the most gold in the game, but as you said, it's really just clean up from the Xayah. Maybe that's the play from them. They want an ADC that has some pretty hard CC. The Ashe was banned, the Varus was picked. No one really plays Jin anymore, so pick up the Xayah and then just get a bunch of CC on your team and let Xayah do cleanup.
Exactly, and when you have so much protect with the Karma and just the front line of Sejuani, Gragas, come on, one auto. Minty's got it.
Yeah, definitely true. Xayah's been very well protected, and curious to see if Jin Air actually has an answer, if they can grab their mental, as they say out here in Korea, and put something together to bring back this game. They're looking for a pick onto Max, but
there's the teleport, and they will try to engage. The tether follows through. There's no follow-up on this one. Ed's by himself.
Ed's all by himself, but so is Ixu,
what?
And he will go down. He was trying to go 1v5 at the same time as ADD, but Ixu a lot less tanky, and MVP a lot farther ahead.
I think they have that new item, the protective helm, the one that gives you that crazy extra amount of resistance and HP by just being in front of everybody. But MVP, screw the dragon, they're going straight for mid lane. This is going to be a mid lane inhibitor for them in return. Jin Air just have no answer, and I gotta say, I'm not liking this Jarvan at all. It has not been working, and it seems like he's trying to do the same thing that ADD is doing, but the champion's just not for it, because ADD is so tanky and nearly impossible to kill at this stage of the game.
Yeah, it's also really rough when you're this far behind. I mean, he had a good laning phase, but after that, he didn't pop off in the same way that he did on the Jace, so he's not extremely fed. He doesn't have the burst damage on the champion of Jarvan to be able to...
Nice hook.
Okay. Nicely done. Yeah, he doesn't have the damage for the follow-up, and he's too far behind, so it's been very lackluster in this game for sure.
And we're seeing the Jin Air that did get placed in promotions last split, just really not coordinated, unable to find anything proactive, and it's a weird game to decide because it really looks like MVP has this one in the bag at this stage in the game. Jin Air seemingly has no answer for what MVP is doing, just running them all over the map. And it poses the question, what's going to happen in Game 3? Who's going to show up? Are both these teams going to play at the peak of the performance that we saw in Game 1 and Game 2? I sure hope so. What? Whoa. All right.
I love your reaction every time the Sejuani throws out the ult. You're just like, what? What the hell?
It's so confusing. Look at, he's going in by himself once again. Oh, the hook onto Maha or Snowflower.
Nice fireworks, and a lot of damage is being put onto MVP, but they're just too far behind at this point. MVP with a nice cleanup. Looks like Teddy will be going down too.
And they're going to be able to close out the game in under 30 minutes. Such a decisive win for MVP.
Damn, when did MVP's fan base get so huge? The screams have been really loud here as they're finally able to pick up their first win.
It's those little things they're handing out, getting everybody pumped up. You hand out something physical to touch, and you just get so rallied up behind it.
Well, there you go. This is going to tie up the series 1-1 as MVP takes game number 2. And as you mentioned during that game, this looks a lot like the MVP that we saw in Spring Split. Super well done by them on the coordination.
Yeah, greatly decisive. A good shift from Game 1. They understood that Game 1, there was so much wrong with it. Don't worry about it. You know how to play the game. You made playoffs last time. Come on, right? So they can just get confident and start putting the pedal to the metal, because if they keep things up and they start succeeding, they can legitimately make a run for Worlds, barring they will most likely have to face Samsung or try to at least beat the level of Samsung, which is quite the tall order. But if anybody can do it, it would be MVP or the Freaks, because rookies always surprise. There's always a story to be made by them. There's always, everybody has to start from ground zero. And when we follow these players' stories, it's always interesting to see the development that they can reach when you give them time and when you give them the proper coaching staff in the right direction.
Yeah, very true. I mean, you look at what happened to Haru when he went over to Samsung. That guy was so good in the spring split. We'll see what happens in summer. But we're going to take a look at some of the replays here. You can see Jin Air, they were trying to set up some stuff, and this ended up going the opposite way. Actually went over to MVP this fight. This
was just such an overconfident play from Jin Air. After getting that first blood, it seemingly looked like their early game was going to go their way once again, but just a kind of weird choice selection of targets, going for the Sejuani, then the Karma with the Gragas at the same time, and here the flash hook straight into the plant. Knows that Zyra's play pattern will be to place a plant over the hook, but he just flashes right over it, and unfortunately Snowflower did flash in the line and gets hit right away.
And you can see some overconfidence once again in this replay where Teddy tries to take the 1v1. They don't see Ian coming down. And I think this ends up being a 2-for-0. Oh no, it's 3-for-0. Yeah, the 1v1 nice in the jungle at the same time.
Nice hook there from Max.
Oh, I thought he actually just went
You thought he ward hopped in there?
Yeah,
no,
I thought he jumped in. I was like, okay, that explains a lot more.
Give him some credit.
Okay, I get it now. So fantastic hook by Max. He actually made that blitzcrank look kind of cool.
Blitzcrank always is cool, though. Even if you fail, I think you get cool points just for picking him. You get cool points just for being allowed to have Blitzcrank in consideration for your champion pool. This is Jarvan 1v5ing it once again. You never do that. If you're Jarvan, you got to have the follow-up from your team. You're not playing full DPS Jarvan. You see MVP just running it back. How are we going to do a game 3, guys? Should we do Blitzcrank again?
What are you guys thinking this time? Yasuo support? Sound good?
Hey, Zac support, right? Maybe that's the one. What can Max do? There's Bard available. There's such a wide champion pool available in so many roles right now that it really gets you rallied up to see what the next match is going to be, because you can add so much flavor. The metas get so different from who you scrim all over the world. Each person is going to have a different idea of what is good and what counters in, what is just not good into maybe the Blitzcrank. Is Blitzcrank viable more than ever now? Could it be that the pick spreads out?
Could it be? I don't know. We've been seeing a lot of Zyra, and you said it's basically a counter with the plants, but if you can flash the plants, I mean, it's this extremely squishy target that you can blow up immediately.
Ideally, you don't want to flash in a straight line.
Yeah.
But you get nervous. When you see somebody flash towards you, you panic flash. It's like Rengar. You know, when you hear Rengar jump, you immediately flinch.
Yeah. I mean, you see a giant transformer bursting at you, you're not going to be all super calm and collected. So let's take a look at the result, see how this game went.
I think MVP won.
Yeah, it looks that way. You guys can see the bans and picks, how it all went down. Zach being banned all the time, as is Galio. And Talia actually had the most damage in the game.
Lots of damage to the front line. Just when you're dealing with beefy guys in the middle, it's really hard to hit the back line, so you end up just blowing all your spells into the guys that are closest to you. And unfortunately, even though your damage does go up, their HP does not go down. And so the Talia, not the greatest person at killing tanks. So the composition from Jin Air not going their way this time around, and we'll likely see some sort of readjustment for Game 3.
Yeah, let's come back in just a few minutes, guys.